All right.
All right. This is the what episode is this? 13, 14?
I think it's the 14th.
14th. This is the 14th episode of the 1080C podcast.
Technically, I think we're in season 2.
Oh yeah, season 2, episode
So like
2.
3?
No, I think this is. Oh wait, no, I haven't put out. This is 3 technically. Yeah, this is 3 technically. Yep, that's correct. Yeah, we're here rocking with a little bit, back to basics. Just the two of us. But if you guys don't know me, I am Trevor Valentine, and
I'm Sophie Ryan. I'm a little sick today, so we're just gonna take it easy, relax a little bit, and talk about some B movies.
Yeah, B movies.
Why don't you explain what a B movie is?
Ooh, that's a little tough. I feel like a B movie is probably like, I don't know, it's something like, it doesn't have to be low budget, but kind of like, so it's a lower budget type of movie. I feel it's a little campy, it's
Mm-hmm.
a little cheesy, but it's fun. It's kind of like movies where they try like to put the most absurd ideas on the screen and just see what happens, basically. Um,
So, fun fact: originally, they're called B movies because originally you had an A movie when you were doing a screening, and then you had a B movie, which was what followed up the main attraction in a double feature, typically less good, that kind of thing. And then the name just stuck because I don't know.
I think that actually reminded me when you said double feature, like they did this was like in 2007. Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino did the Planet Terror Death Proof double feature. It was part of a Grindhouse type deal. So putting that into perspective, it makes a whole lot of sense.
I saw oh my god. What's the zombie movie franchise with not Andy Samberg, but he's the other one that looks like that.
Oh, Jesse Eisenberg, Zombieland?
Yeah, I saw a double feature that was Zombieland 2 and Joker.
Oh my god. That is awful. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's such a tonal shift. Jeez. Wow.
It was like whiplash.
I bet like you're going from like, oh yeah, Jesse Eisenberg just trying to fight zombies to Joaquin Phoenix having a mental breakdown in a movie.
Oh, this cough drop, the middle tastes so bad. I'm gonna have to spit it out. I'm so sorry. This is so gross.
It's all good. It's all good.
It's like medicine in the middle. Oh my god.
It's for the long time viewers right there.
It's fine. Oh my god, that was
terrible. But yeah, B movies are fun. I've always liked elements of them, like how much fun. I feel like a lot of movies, especially today, they tend to take themselves a little too seriously. So
I agree,
sometimes it's good for movies to just laugh at themselves, like the absurdity of it, so
I think that's like the good B movies are the ones that realize that they are terrible and like play with that, right? Because we've talked about Sharknado several times on this podcast at this point, but part of what makes Sharknado so great is that they know that they're making a terrible shark movie and they're like, hell yeah, let's just like let's dig into it. That could be said for like that entire genre of like sci-fi shark movies. You got Ghost Shark, you got Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus. They all know that like it's bad, but like that's the fun of it.
Or kind of like not like the Godzilla sequels after the original one, where it's like Godzilla versus Mecha Godzilla or versus Mothra. It's like they know what they are. Like it's very just dumb fun that's entertaining, you know. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'd much rather prefer those than like what we get now with those Godzilla movies. It's like, oh, it's so serious, man. Like, oh man, people look, you see the kid crying in the background, and now Godzilla or King Kong is beating his chest trying to protect the kid. Like, I don't care, bro. I'm here to see the monsters fight, and that's it. That's all I'm here.
I think
Here for.
Tony's coming.
Oh, for real? Cool.
Yeah, he just texted me back. He said, "When is it?" And I said, "Right now."
Got you. I guess we can
I
segue.
think-
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to throw out that I think part of what I specifically love about B movies is programs like Mystery Science Theater 3000 or like Riff Tracks, or just like in general YouTube commentators now just watch movies and add commentary to it, and that in itself is also like a good aspect of like the B movie genre, because there are whole shows dedicated to like making fun of B movies. Like Mystery Science Theater 3000 is quite possibly the best thing that was ever made, and I will talk about that on my deathbed.
That's fair. That reminds me, as a YouTuber, I watched the Cosmonaut Variety Hour, who I may or may not have been told that I look like on numerous occasions, but he made a video about, like, he does like a whole like picture show where he like does commentary on like weird kids movies or bad or B movies really, or just bad movies in general. And those are always, I get so much enjoyment out of listening to those when I watch a movie, because I don't know, it gives you a feeling like I'm not the only one experiencing this, you know?
Right. Yeah. It adds like a little bit of I don't know, because like sometimes you can watch a B movie and you're like, God, this is terrible, and like it would be fun, but it would be fun like with people. And I think those shows and like watching something like that, I should say, is something that provides that experience even if you're not like actually with people.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely, not to get into COVID, but it's definitely something I've noticed myself doing since COVID hit. I've missed the theater experience, so I've been using that as a substitute, sort of. So,
what would you say is your favorite B movie?
Ooh. I don't want to say the obvious answer because I think it's a little too early.
Go ahead.
I think Freaked might be
That's a good one.
Funnest movie I've ever seen. Like it's so much fun. Like I just can't explain it. Like it's so goofy, but it's so enjoyable at the same time. I love movies that play with like pop culture references and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's just kind of, shout out to Carly, by the way, putting me on that movie, or putting both of us on that movie.
Right. Yeah. Fantastic movie night pick.
That movie slaps.
Freaked. It's God. What is that kid's name?
Alex Winter.
Yeah.
From Bill and Ted. Yep. It's kind of brainchild, which is, it's just such an absurd movie. I couldn't see like something like that getting made today, because I feel like I wish I could be in the. So for those who don't know, Freaked is about, without spoiling anything, it's about an actor who gets kind of indoctrinated into part of this human freak show. So
right, because he takes a corporate sponsorship.
Yeah.
And on his like trip to like, I don't know, like vacation somewhere, he gets like sidetracked, and like this hot chick wants to stop at the freak show, and then they all get turned into freaks. and
Yeah.
it's got wonderful practical effects.
Socko,
It's just
my
great.
guy.
Yeah, dude,
Socko,
I
my
love
guy.
Sockhead.
He's
He
great.
is my favorite. Kanye, not Kanye.
Oh, Kanye
Keanu
was not
Reeves
in the movie.
has an appearance in as a little cameo.
It's so funny.
There are a lot
like,
of yeah.
It's really great. It has some really great effects. Like
Mhm.
I miss that a lot about modern movies. I feel like, especially with so much CG. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I don't know, something about practical makeup effects are just
It's good.
mesmerizing to the eyes.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see. Like, I don't know, there's some really crazy effects in the movie, and I'm like, dang, how did y'all pull this off? Like 1993, you know? So yeah, it might be my favorite. I can't think of, because I like a lot of goofy movies. I don't know if The Mask is a me movie. I don't think that counts. It's a little too high production,
I don't
but it's
know.
so, I don't know. That's a movie that I think of with like kind of similar in tone, I guess.
Mhm.
I feel like, but Freaked in The Mask. I don't know if The Mask counts. It's kind of a high budget Hollywood movie, a little bit.
I don't know either. I would say definitely the one with Jim Carrey is like
Yeah, it's kind of a high budget movie, a
right,
little
yeah.
bit. What's something else with the low? Would you count the first Evil Dead?
Yeah, I don't think that having a cult following disqualifies you as being a B movie, because like The Room is a B movie and
Yeah,
that
that's
has a cult
that's fair.
following, definitely. Like Sharknado has a cult following. The Thanksgiving movies have a cult
I've
following.
never seen those.
You've never? Oh my God.
Mhm.
You're missing out. Just kidding. You're not.
Man, but I don't know. It is kind of a tricky thing. I think I liked, especially when I was younger, I liked a lot of movies that kind of had that B movie vibe, but they weren't at the same
Yeah.
time. So like The Mask is kind of an example of that. I love that movie. Um, Even though it's a Hollywood studio movie, it's such an insane idea, and the execution is so insane that I don't know. It's a forgotten gem of the times. I feel forgotten gem. No pun intended for Jim Carrey. Shout out,
Shout out
my
Jim
guy.
Carrey.
What other? Well, since we
My
have the B
favorite
movie expert, I'm gonna let you go.
my favorite is Turbo Kid. I think I've talked about it before several times, probably. I love that movie. I don't know what it is about the movie. I think what I think is so funny is that it's like this like post-apocalyptic, like maybe in the future they've got some fun technology, but they all ride around on bikes and like they do all their high-speed chases with bikes, and I think that's like really funny. I really love that one. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Sharknado. Um, that one was funny. Technically, the Blob movies are B movies. Not like the 1988 one is, and so is the 1958. But we're not talking about that. Um, the 1988 one is good. I think their Blob is also like really really good. Like the practical effect on that looks decent. I'm looking. We can't talk about like B movies that exist without talking about Lloyd Kaufman. I'll read you his little IMDb page. I'm sure you know, but
Lloyd
Lloyd
Kaufman.
Kaufman, yeah,
Did he do the Toxic Avenger, or am I thinking of somebody else?
yeah, he did.
Yes, I love those.
So
Let's go.
yeah, he makes so many B movies. Um, he did the Toxic Avenger, obviously. Trauma Wars, Nukem High. I think he owns like Trauma Films, I think is his like thing. And he does that thing too where he has a little cameo in each of his little things. He's made so many. Oh my god, I'm looking at this. Oh my god.
I'm looking at the list, like, jeez.
I love that he's like Uncle Lloyd in a lot of them. That's really fun. Yeah, no, okay, I'm gonna stop looking now. But like he has made such like he kind of has his own genre really of B movies. I'm pretty sure he's involved in some capacity with the Thanksgiving like franchise. I think that was him. I think that was at least Trauma, at least. I said at least like so many times in that sentence.
No, they're making a Toxic Avenger reboot. Why?
Here's Tony.
No.
Is Lloyd still gonna be on the production team?
Yeah, he's still on the production team, but they're remaking the Toxic Avenger as like a Hollywood movie. Why?
Oh
no.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
No. Come on. The Toxic Avenger should be in the National Library of Congress. I think I don't remember how I got put onto that movie, but I used to watch what's the TV network? G4 TV, and they used to play the Toxic Avenger movies on there. And I watched all three of them. And I was like, as a kid, I was like, well, these movies are so strange, but I can't look away. Like, so interesting, you know? Like,
late to the game as ever, our guest. I'm kidding.
Late to the game.
I appreciate you showing.
How's it going? What's the topic?
We're talking about B movies.
Okay.
If you would like to share your favorites. I just talked about Turbokin and Thanksgiving and Sharknado and the 1988 Blob.
Okay. I think whenever I think B movie, I immediately go to like Tank Girl for some reason. I don't know why. I don't even know if that's considered a B movie, but
probably.
But yeah, I don't like. I don't.
Part of what I was talking to Trevor about is that my interaction with B movies is mostly through like Mystery Science Theater 3000 or
sure.
like some other form of that kind of content, just because like I think it's very different now that we have like Netflix and Amazon Prime and like anybody could put anything out there, and so like there's a lot to sludge through to like see some crappy content.
I guess for me, like if I looking at like B movie as like a subgenre of like film release, all the old like sci-fi movies that used to come out on like, the Sci-Fi Channel, every single one of them were like fantastic.
Oh yeah, Piranha's on that list.
Yeah,
Piranha is so good.
I remember there's like one that used to like re-show all the time that was like basically like space dinosaurs. That's all I remember about it. And just, I mean, whenever I was a kid, that's all my mom would watch. So I just come in and be like, okay, what cheesy weird thing are you watching on the Sci-Fi Channel today? And she's like, they're great, they're fantastic. Okay.
wonderful movies.
I don't know, besides like Sharknado, I think Sharknado is like, that one's like peak, right? So peak B movie. They have like 8 of them now.
I just got reminded about this movie is not a B movie. The Tim Burton movie Ed Wood. That's about the guy making all those B movies.
Yeah, that's funny.
I haven't seen that movie, but oh wait, didn't Tim Burton make Mars Attacks? It's kind of a homage to B movies.
Yeah,
probably.
I didn't know Tim Burton made that movie. Did Tim Burton actually direct Mars Attacks?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let me see.
Hold up.
Somebody research that. That's not
Yeah,
me.
he directed it.
Yo, you're right. What? I didn't know that actually.
Yeah.
That movie
I haven't
freaked
seen
me
that
out as a
movie.
kid. Let's see.
But yeah, I don't know. I like that B movies have had kind of a cultural resurgence. Well, I wouldn't say resurgence, but I'm glad that like a lot of these movies that came out, especially in like the 50s and whatnot, just like random space aliens come in places or like invasion
I think
of
they
the
had a
body
lot of fun.
snatchers. Yeah, like
Yeah.
those like I feel like they were like they probably came up with the concept in like 10 minutes, but I don't know, they left a lasting impression on like a group of young filmmakers. So, you know, I think that they've done a lot good for filmmaking, I think. Personally.
Yeah.
I think now also the problem that you get with B movies is you get like the writer, director, actor, producer trio with a lot of those
Where
now.
they just kind of keep doing the same thing. Is that what you're talking about?
Where it's all the same person. Whereas I think
Oh,
in a lot
okay.
of older B movies, like it was like actually like a larger production.
So there's a
like,
difference between, just to clarify, there's totally, and I think this is what you were touching on before when you were talking about Netflix and everything. Independent film, like indie films versus B movie films. There's a difference,
two
right?
different things,
Yeah.
yes. Because technically, like what I said at the beginning of the podcast, but obviously you weren't here. B movie came from like when they would do double features, right? So they would have the A movie, which was your like your big event, and then you'd have your B movie, which was like this lesser picture. Typically, it costs less, it's less showy, that kind of thing. So it's not even like a set like genre of film. It is just like a lower category.
Okay. Interesting.
It's kind
I
of like
didn't know
with
that,
literature. Like so with literature you have crime and punishment, and then you have like I don't know, like Skippy John Jones or whatever. That's our two ends of the spectrum.
You know.
Yeah, sure. Right. So like
okay.
Wait. Are these because then I can go into this deeper. Are these counted as B movies, the 90s Ninja Turtles live action?
What was their budget?
Let me see.
I think also a lot of the like the 80s, 90s B movies were independent films. I think that's what kind of makes it a little right. It kind of makes it a little more difficult to and most indie films do have smaller budgets. So I think that also like blurs the lines a little bit.
I think whenever I think B movie, I really start thinking of like cheesy horror, like survival films. Like, I can't think of any names, but like, I mean, I'm sure I could. Hold on. I don't know any of these movies.
I have a list of 100 best B movies. But at 89, which I very much disagree with, is Dolomite, and I think that it should be higher up.
I was gonna say
blaxploitation movies. Those are also
one of the classic B movies. Like it keeps popping in my head is like the swamp creature like movie like kind of thing. Like I'm pretty sure it's like from the 50s or something, black and white, and it's that. It's a horror film, but like it's so low budget. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's probably in the same category.
The Ginger Dead Man.
Yeah, sure. And
anything by Lloyd Kaufman, as we were just talking about.
Yeah, sure.
Shout out Lloyd Kaufman. He's like 75.
He's still making them though.
Is he?
Yeah, but especially going back to blaxploitation movies, I think.
Oh my God. Sorry.
Shout out to all those filmmakers, especially back in the 70s and 80s, who, you know, Hollywood wouldn't give them an opportunity, so they decided to make their own, and served as an inspiration for a lot of filmmakers of color. So
Yeah.
of course, shout out to them. Shout out to them.
If you haven't seen Dolomite, please watch it. It is very good.
Yeah.
I love that
There's
one.
also there's a Netflix movie that I watched where it's basically like it's a biopic about how they made Dolomite with Eddie Murphy. It's actually pretty good. Dolomite is My Name is the name of the movie. It's pretty good. I liked it a lot. It was just very interesting to see like how they set everything up, and like they were shooting in an abandoned hotel, and like they got a director who was the elevator guy in Rosemary's Baby, which I thought was funny. Like I didn't know that until I watched the movie. I was like, oh, the elevator guy from Rosemary's Baby directed Dolomite. That's pretty cool. But yeah, shout out to them. Shout out to all the blaxploitation filmmakers, you know. And then I feel like those B movies in general, they kind of inspired a whole. You kind of see it in like the early or late 80s, early 90s. They inspired a lot of filmmakers like Tim Burton or Quentin Tarantino or what's Robert Rodriguez,
John Carpenter.
Yeah. Even like to a certain extent, like like George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, like they kind of, while they commercialized, eventually they became more commercial filmmakers. At the beginning, at least, they were pretty much like, I don't know, goofy, like they were making goofy movies, basically, you know? So,
Right. I mean,
I'm kind of curious.
in
I know
case
this
you
is
were
like-
wondering,
Oh, go ahead.
Lloyd Kaufman has 10 movies in pre-production right now that he's just acting in. But I assume that they're a part of Troma, which means that technically he's executive producer on this. Oh my god, he has so many in post-production. Oh my god.
What's like good examples of like modern B movies? There's a lot of the ones I think of are from like the
Wolf
70s.
of Snow Hollow.
oh no.
Hold on, let me look that up.
So
Wolf.
it does fall under the wrote, directed, starred in triage. But it's like a little werewolf movie, and like 95% of the landscape shots are like I don't know, it was just like a filler thing, but it's like a really funny, I don't know, it did kind of try to take itself a little seriously, but it was an interesting watch, I would say.
Yeah.
The sound was kind of whack. The acting was definitely whack.
So basically, it's like it's not necessarily indie, like it's not an indie production per se, but it's like
Right.
a lower budget
Right.
Hollywood-ish film, basically.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I wonder if
Neil Breen. We didn't talk about Neil Breen.
Yeah, we should talk
Breen.
about Neil Breen.
do it.
Fucking
I
an
think
example of
he's-
right direct act.
Yeah, a lot. I think because The Room, especially, like Tommy Wiseau, I think he's inspired a lot of people to try to emulate that type of success. Unfortunately, yeah.
I'm
he's
sorry.
inspired a lot
When
of
you
people.
look up
You're good.
Neil Breen, it says Neil Breen is an American amateur filmmaker, actor, and reincarnation of Jesus. Excuse me?
Or our rabbit hole people, is he kind of like the Chris Chan movie?
Oh yeah, huh?
Yeah, but you know, Neil Breen, I've seen clips of his movies. I've never sat down and watched them. But the clips are funny.
It's definitely not worth it to watch it. Okay, so yeah, he directed, produced, wrote, acted, and edited in all of his movies.
Every single one.
Yeah, and he included his own credit for every single role. So don't get it twisted. That is a Neil Breen production.
I think I have more to say about movies that may not be B movies, but they're more inspired by them. Like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of Robert Rodriguez work is very like Spy Kids, for example, like that. It's just so absurd.
Sure.
Do you think that's inspired from B movies, or do you think that was just like a part of like genre humor? That's also like a difference. We see B movies as kind of funny because they are like lower budget, so like most of the time they do like a pretty good job of like making a little bit of fun at themselves. But I think the key difference, and something that like you have to tread very lightly on, is like a movie that is made for kids, like Spy Kids, so the comedy has to be like very on the nose and like made for kids, versus like B movies where like it's just people being aware that their effects look kind of terrible. And you don't want to say that something is necessarily inspired by B movies if it's comedic.
Good point. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm looking through this list. I've realized a lot of these I have not seen, unfortunately. But I love the.
You can edit your own. You can edit your own IMDb page, right?
I think you have to pay for that, like premium or something.
Yeah, you do have to pay for it.
I definitely think that. I think that Neil Breen edited his own IMDb page.
Probably. I wouldn't be
Sorry,
surprised.
it just says in one of his trivia facts, it says Neil has a master's in computer science and a PhD in quantum physics with an F. So I'm really doubting somebody's PhD. Dr. Breen, I need some explanation.
Dr. Neil Breen. Imagine you go in the quantum physics class and
Just
Neil
the
Breen
class.
is just in there like, hello, wow.
You guys ever seen my movies?
They're great.
I would go to that. Death Race 2000. I've heard of this movie. I haven't seen it. There's a bad remake of it with Jason Statham. Yeah.
Interesting.
What did
you
you
called
find?
Trumbo. It's on Amazon Prime. It's apparently pretty decent. B movie. Let's see.
Ooh, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I forgot about that one.
Hey, yeah. Ooh, okay, cool. I got more examples of modern B movies. Machete. What, I can't remember how. Whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
With freaking what's his
Danny
name?
Trejo.
Yeah. Okay, I guess I get what you were saying before when you were saying like a lot of them are like inspired. Like you mentioned like Tarantino and a few others. I can see where you're going with now. That makes sense. Interesting. Grindhouse.
Yeah.
Eight-Legged Freak is a personal favorite of mine. I did not know that was a B movie, but yeah, that makes sense.
Is Human Centipede a B movie?
I think it is. Yeah. Okay, there's a lot of films in here I've seen that constitute as B movies. Have you guys seen Lake Placid ever?
Maybe.
Bible Man is a B movie. Oh my god!
Any Bible Man movie, bro. Are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh, yo! I only know about Bible Man because of YouTube. Oh man.
Lake Placid was one of those films like about like an alligator or a crocodile or something that like goes and kills a bunch of people. Fantastic Four is not a B movie. Come on.
Yeah, I saw that and I also don't think that it's a B movie.
That's not a B movie. It's just a bad movie. There's a difference. um,
Didn't
okay.
Trevor? Didn't you guys watch a very terrible Bigfoot movie?
We did. Hannah made us watch an awful Bigfoot movie called Primal Rage, where it's basically the theme of it's kind of like Predator, but with Bigfoot. So nobody cares about spoilers for this movie.
No.
A guy
No.
gets out of jail, his girlfriend picks him up, and the whole time they're like arguing and whatnot. Like, I waited a year for you and all this stuff. It is so goofy. And then like there's actually, I don't want to say this on the podcast. It does have a Bigfoot sexual assault scene, which is very uncomfortable. I was on board with the movie until that showed up, and I was like, okay, right, that's a little weird. Like,
It's like that one guy's YouTube channel.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Like, what's going on with you, bro? Like, why would you write that? But like, it's so goofy that the like chief, the police chief, he's Native American, and so of course they have a scene where he like goes back to his roots to figure out how to stop the Bigfoot. And
Good,
it's so
great,
bad.
yeah.
It's so bad. It is awful. I don't know why Hannah made us watch it.
I think that a
Education.
lot of things that are considered B movies to us don't seem like it anymore because a lot of them have developed a cult following as well. That's kind of what I'm
Yeah.
looking at. It's like Ducker and Tail versus Ducker. Oh my god.
Tucker and Dale, right? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That one. Wow, I just had a stroke.
No,
like we don't.
that's been my struggle. What the heck is going on here? Hello? Okay, turn on. Thank you. So anyway, that's been my struggle, I think, is like basically not really knowing what constitutes a B movie just because the it's very muddied now, right?
Yeah.
Especially because of
Yeah.
the cult following. You mentioned The Room earlier, and I was like, oh wait, duh. Right. Have you guys seen the Lost Skeleton of Cadavra?
No, but it was on this list that I was looking at.
So this movie is infuriating, even though it is totally a parody. It is a parody, but it's so hard to watch because it's such a well done parody of like 50s B, like 1950s B movies, which is really bad dialogue that just goes nowhere and it's just said for no reason. And to this day, I don't fully know what goes on in that movie by the end because I stopped watching it. But I mean, it's definitely one of those things if you're wanting to see like a parody film of like those kind of B movie era stuff, like it does a good job of capturing it. It's just
Interesting.
I'm impatient. And it's really dumb in a good way for most people, I think, which is why it's a cult classic. But yeah. Sorry, I'm like looking up synopsis for it and I'm just remembering. Anyway.
Yeah, like I don't know. It is a very muddy, especially when I think about it. It's just something I kind of know when I see it, I guess.
Right,
kind of
yeah.
Like a style, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of a style or general feeling of what the film is aiming for, I guess. Like it's a very difficult thing to kind of, I don't know, explain, I guess. I don't know.
It's weird, right? Because I kind of would like you to unpack it, or Sophie to unpack it, because it's not just that it's low budget, right? It's not that.
No.
It's
I
like,
think at first it started kind of as like a lower. Let me get out the whiteboard. I wasn't ready for this today, but it's okay. I can break it down for us. Hold on. All right. So.
Because there's like a way in which they're shot too, which is what you see like with Tarantino's able to emulate that style a bit. But
I would also like to say John Carpenter is very good at. He's very good at like shot composition. So I think that like a lot of his earlier works I would consider B movies. And like, I don't know. I just rewatched like a whole bunch of them, so that's on my brain right now.
Feel you.
But okay, so first of all, they're not meant for. You know what? We've been talking about B movies this whole time, and I haven't even shared with you guys the one, like the DVD that I have sitting right here. This was made in Colombia.
I've heard of this film. I've seen trailers
It's called
for it.
Bad Girls.
Yeah.
I have it. I still haven't watched it. I've had it for like a month now. I just don't have anything to play DVDs on. The disc is really cool. It looks terrible, but I think I'm going to enjoy it. I went to high school with this girl, by the way. So that's crazy.
Not her. That's crazy.
But
yeah,
I would say, okay, Beck, I'm so sorry. I'm on cold medicine. Everything is like a one-way street, bro. It's all terrible today.
All good. It's all good.
Okay. So
is it just the plot? I feel like it's not just plots, right? I mean, it is also dialogue, also like overacting and underacting.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you would do this to me.
Yeah.
It's kind of like soap opera.
Yeah.
Acting a little bit, you know?
Yeah. And also in a lot of the ways it's filmed, I'm not positive. I'm not sure on this at all. So I'm probably gonna look like an idiot when I say this, but I'm fine with that. It almost has that soap opera like kind of effect in the way it's filmed. Like I feel like some of them are filmed at like a higher like frame rate or shutter speed or something. And I don't know what they're exported and what the final product is, but there's like almost like a quickness to like some of their action that feels weird. And their lighting's very much like usually stage lighting.
Yeah.
A lot of it's weirdly enough, a lot of B movies I see are shot like on sets, and I'm pretty sure sets are very expensive, right? In some cases, it's cheaper to shoot on location. So I don't know. Oh, sorry, I was just listening to stuff. My bad. What else? You have like writing that's just more focused on, I guess, like kind of shoehorning a plot along and not really
right. It's like
you're not really getting a whole lot of character development. It's much more focused on the like
the
scale.
best example I have of that is probably In the Room, when you have like god, that I don't even know what the plot for that movie ultimately is in some ways, but like, you know, you have like characters that come in and their entire purpose is to disclose the plot through as quick as dialogue as possible, and you have In the Room like the mother character is just like, I have cancer, and then we never get like anything with it again, right? And so there's just like a lot of useless dialogue, and like I don't know, it's almost like
it's all just for exposition.
Yes.
I did not hit her. I did not.
Did not.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark. There's also like in the Lost Cadaver or the Lost Skeleton of the Cadavra movie I was talking about before, like there's a scene very early on where like there's like a soldier, like a guard or something like that, guarding like this certain property, and this guy comes up and it's just like, hey, I need to get into this like to X, Y, and Z zone. And he's just like, oh, you can't. I'm sorry, sir, because that is where the X, X, and X and X is located, and you cannot do this. And it's just like, it's very specific. and then like I can't remember how he gets past him. I'm pretty sure he just says something nice to him. And then he's like, oh, what a nice guy. You know, it's like, I need you to assure me you're not a sketchy individual. I'm not sketchy.
It's just so much goes into the dialogue is very stilted.
Yeah.
You know, it is so much that goes into like the line delivery, especially like Yeah, there we go. That works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sexy ladies.
This one
for
is
sure.
especially important. Yeah.
Yeah, especially as
and
long as
free.
they're like wearing random bikini shots, especially. And like back in the
Right,
70s, it was
right, right.
gold or like platinum.
Wait,
Right?
in
Right.
Toxic
I mean,
Avenger, isn't there like a there's like a sex scene in that
What?
movie?
Is there?
Yeah. Yeah.
So literally any Lloyd Kaufman film is going to have a topless woman in it.
Yeah.
That's just
Okay.
like his thing.
I'm trying
Now
to
I
think of
want to
movies I've
watch the
seen.
Toxic Avenger again.
Lake Placid, Lost Cause of
Hold
even
on,
The
I gotta
Room.
cough.
Oh no. Well, yeah, even The Room has like a gratuitous, unnecessary sex scene, right? So.
Right, yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh God.
You know
just
what
remind
doesn't?
me.
Turbo Kid.
Sorry. Turbo Kid doesn't.
Nope.
Okay, I accept that. Yeah, you're right. I was like trying to like, What about? No, I think you're right. Almost every single one of them has like just some sexy lady like plot device kind of thing going on. Some of them that's the entire center point of the entire film.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Yeah, sure.
Somebody uploaded Toxic Avenger on YouTube. I know I'm watching it right now.
I'm gonna put this not as a requirement, but like maybe off to the side.
Sure.
And I'm just gonna have it say like writer, director, actor.
Okay.
Just because I
Yeah.
think a lot of times, or at least like a cameo in their own
Mhm.
film, a lot of them like to do that.
Oh yeah, director cameos for sure.
Like M. Night just pops in like, what's up, guys?
Yeah.
You know, I'm in this
Fever was
movie
a B
too.
movie.
What?
Cabin Fever. I just remembered that film.
Mm.
It's directed by shit, what's his name? He was in
That's
Inglourious
the one that I
Basterds.
always confuse with Cabin in the Woods, even though
Cabin
they're
in the
very
Woods.
different, but they
Yeah.
have cabin in the name.
For sure. Eli Roth directed that actually back in 2002.
Wait, he directed The House with a Clock in Its Walls. Am I correct? I might be wrong.
I'm pretty sure you're right. Hold on. I'm triple checking. Let me fact check you before I just blindly agree. Yep. House of the Clock in Its Walls. Yep.
I knew it.
Yeah.
He directed the Goosebumps movie too.
Yeah. Cabin Fever was his
yeah.
first. He also did Hostel. I didn't know that.
Wow.
Cabin Fever was his first film. He also did Grindhouse. One of the Grindhouse films. Aftershock. He didn't direct Aftershock actually. He was just a writer for that. And yeah, he's actually what? They made a remake of Cabin Fever? What?
When?
What?
When did they do
In
that?
2016, they made a remake of Cabin Fever. I had no idea. It was done by IFC. Interesting. Weird.
That is interesting.
Huh. Anyway.
Cult following after. Yeah, I think
Cult following.
Everything on that list you put down, Sophie, I think all of that definitely applies.
Yes.
Donnie Darko.
No.
I feel like the budget's a little too. It has some big name Hollywood actors in it.
Sure, you're right.
I think the budget's a little
not
too
that
high
you
for
can't not get big name actors in it, but I do think that like Donnie Darko has a lot of different sets and a lot of different things happening. And I think sometimes in these, because like even if we take a movie that is similar, not comparing them plot wise, if we take Freaked, as we talked about earlier, and we compare Freaked to Donnie Darko, Freaked for the majority takes place in one location, which probably was a stage that they could just make it look like that. You know, like it's not as Donnie Darko had a lot of moving pieces, and I feel like that would be very hard to pull off if not like
Yeah.
if they didn't have the resources that they had.
Yeah, I get you. I think that was just my like natural thing that I was struggling with before. It's like just taking like a certain type of movie that fits like an indie almost format and then putting B movie.
Right. Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
isn't the case, right? So
No.
what's a movie that I can think that would shake this up a little bit? Only Fantastic Four is a B movie. I'm just kidding.
It's like the original one, right?
Wait, the
The
90s
original-
one? Whoa.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're saying is Fantastic
Oh,
Four.
The 90s one
original
that
definitely
movie.
is.
counts. There's a 90s Captain America movie and a 90s Nick Fury movie too. All three of those are very campy, very cheap, very like it basically hits all the checklist bars basically. Even though those movies are based on like major properties. You know?
Right. But I mean, like, you can have a movie based on a major property and it still be a B movie because it's nobody was going out to see the Fantastic Four, really. They wanted to see, I don't know, Superman or something. Because the Superman movies were big when they first came out, right?
Yeah.
So you can imagine like a double feature being like the Superman movie and then like Fantastic Four movie.
You still had like Spider-Man was out during that time too. So yeah.
Right.
Like so yeah, for sure. Fantastic Four. My God.
Yeah.
That's interesting to think about it being a V movie. I can see where you're coming from, like old Batman and stuff like that, though, for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
60 Adam West Batman. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love those movies with all of my heart.
With the rubber shark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that. What else?
I love that.
I don't know.
Trying to think of like the less obvious ones. Okay, we'll go with like the most obvious. Normally how you do this, right, is we like come up with a movie and we like see like what ticks the box, right? Do you want to do that?
Right, yeah. We can.
Sure. Some of these I don't remember well enough, like I haven't seen in so long. I'll do one that I just remember because from my childhood, like it scarred me. Lake Placid. We'll do that.
Okay.
Even though, or we could do one we've all seen. Actually, that may be easier.
Sharknado.
Okay, that's easy to do.
We've all seen Sharknado, correct?
Sure. I see Sharknado. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, your first. Yeah. Though Sharknado is funny, right? Because like it was appealing to a larger audience in some ways.
It was appealing to a larger audience because the first one, but also then they did like really good job marketing. The marketing on the Sharknado movies was fantastic.
I don't remember. Like, you mean just like TV ads, or do you just remember like
TV ads? They had a whole Twitter thing going.
Okay, cool.
I remember being heavily involved every time they released a new Sharknado movie.
Of course. Yeah, Sophie acting. Yeah. The entire premise of the film is like, come on. Lower effects and there's a lot of practical effects is what you're saying, right? Yeah.
So typically they try to use practical more, but I will say Sharknado, there's not really that much practical wise, but they do have a lot of very terrible CGI, and I do think that weighs it out what we're missing in practical.
It's a fun thing, right? Especially more and more modern, that like practical effects can sometimes be extremely more like expensive depending on what it is, right? Especially like explosions and shit. So yeah. So they definitely had horrible CGI for sure. So
yes.
As far as the stage lighting, the dynamic lighting, I don't remember. Did it have
a lot of it was outside?
So they got to avoid it using
a lot of like flat lighting.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So a lot of it they just like it was probably like sunny out and they just like kind of put like a filter over it to make it look cloudy. That's kind of what I feel was done with Sharknado. They were just like, it's outside and it's bright, so we don't need to light anything.
Probably. Yeah. No, that makes sense for sure. So that fits. Exposition-y.
I think with the sci-fi movies especially, you're gonna get a little less of this because there's not actually any discernible plot.
Yeah, because mostly the plot comes to the characters too. Like it just kind of arrives, it's there, and it's constantly there.
Right. And if I
So-
remember correctly from my remembering of Sharknado, Tara Reid
Well, she wasn't.
is,
Was she?
yeah, I'm pretty sure she was. I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Oh my god, I forgot. Oh my god, you're right.
Yeah, I know. There's like a whole like divorce plot line happening, and like the kids are like divorce, and like like, and then like at the end they're like coming together as a family, and like the man like jumps into the shark with a chainsaw and like comes out on the other side, like, and they're like, we can be a family. And like Tara Reid loses her arm, but like it doesn't matter because she puts a chainsaw there for like the next Sharknado occurrence,
Oh my god. Yeah. Sexy ladies.
Tara Reid.
Yeah.
Also, I'm pretty sure
Yes.
I'm pretty sure there are sexy ladies in Sharknado.
Yeah.
And then the pop culture following after.
Yeah.
Which is, yes.
Massive, right? Because they've had how many of those movies now?
Like 6?
Oh,
6. Yeah.
6. Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, so for sure. So that's like a perfect example of a B movie, 100% then. Especially one that's not that old, like 2013, I guess was a while ago. But in terms of comparing it to like some of the other
1988, The Blob.
Yeah. No. It's a good example of a modernish B movie, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
would have been great on sci-fi, So let's see. What else? What's another one? You got one, Trevor, to throw in through the blender?
Oh, I don't know if everybody's seen Toxic Avenger.
I haven't.
Damn.
No, I've seen about every other Kaufman though.
Toxic Avenger. Toxic Avenger.
Well, Toxic Avenger, since it's a Kaufman movie, it basically crosses everything on the box. So I don't really have to go into that.
Did you have a revelation over there?
I've seen the character. Yeah, that's like I was like, oh wait, I know what this movie is.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the movie though. Yeah, that's funny.
Well, what time?
What about? Okay, let's take the ones that we were kind of like throwing out before, like Batman, Fantastic Four. Let's do Fantastic Four.
Okay, I haven't seen that one in so long.
haven't
Somebody's
either.
gonna have to do that one.
Okay, damn.
I've
Maybe
seen
not.
like clips of it. There's a lot of cheesy. I know they had a dude in a suit for the thing. The costumes are really cheesy and like crappy.
Yeah.
It's lit. It very much has like the stage lighting. Effects aren't great.
Are you talking? You're talking just to make sure we're on the same page. We're talking about the one that came out in like early 2000s. It didn't come.
Oh, I was talking about the '90s one.
There was a '90s Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's '94.
What?
Yeah.
Yo, you're right. Oh my god. Oh wait, no, I've seen this. Okay, I didn't know this was a Fantastic Four movie actually.
Yeah.
Power Rangers or something.
Ooh, we could talk about the Power Rangers.
Let's do
Power Rangers.
Hold on, I'm getting my mind blown really quick. Just give me a second.
Yeah. You see it? Like, it's so...
the Rock Man. He's so adorable. Hold on, I'm gonna make this my background really quick. Hold on. This is for
Power Rangers. I think Power Rangers is probably the most like mainstream example of B movie culture, I guess.
But I won't accept the new Power Rangers movie, the one that I won't accept like the 2018 Power Rangers movie.
Yeah.
I won't accept that one at all. Oh my god. Okay. I will only accept like the ones that they probably showed on like Cartoon Network that were like straight to TV.
Mighty Morphin. It's Morphin time.
I love that line.
It's so good.
It was
Okay.
Morphin time.
What else?
It
Didn't
do be
Nickelodeon
morphin'.
have that weird kids show Anamorph, where like the
No,
kids
that
would
was a
turn into
book
animals?
series.
Oh,
was
No,
a book
they
series.
had a
had a TV
show
show?
for Animorphs. Yeah, I only got to
That's
see like
so
one
unfortunate.
episode. And
I'm
it was
sure it was
very
terrible.
creepy.
terrifying.
Yeah, it's very creepy. and
I
silly.
hope they
Nightmare
kept
fuel.
the very clear climate change overtone of those books. I think that's one of the funniest things of those books, because if you go back and you look at it, the message of that author was, if you guys don't do anything, we're all going to die. And it's like, I'm just trying to read about some kids turning into animals. What do you mean the planet's dying, bro?
I'm gonna have to censor this, but yo, why they got my guy
Chad
Personally-
Personally,
right now, I kind of feel like the thing.
Yeah, I mean, he's so cute, right?
yeah.
Look at him. They didn't go
Yeah.
wrong, man.
Oh my god. Man.
So the Anamorph Show came out in '98 and apparently had 2 seasons. I did not know that. I remember watching 1 or 2 episodes, being very scared about it. My mom wouldn't let me watch it anymore.
I know a kid turned into like an animal in a hallway or something.
Yeah.
I've seen that clip.
Well, it's weird if I remember right. It's been so long. I was a wee little lad, but like the beginning of that show, like, is basically kids like getting turned into these things. That's like,
So, as someone who read all of the books and knows the lore, so technically the series begins with the aliens crashing down, and then like the bad aliens come in, because these aliens that crash down are the only ones that have this technology to like change into
Right.
other animals, and the bad aliens are destroying like all of these planets, and they need to they can inhabit other people's bodies, but it's like permanent. So they want the morphing technology to be of use.
those books had like a controversial kind of thing to them, right? Where like, wasn't there like a scene where like one of the kids got like,
He got
could
stuck.
not
Yeah.
couldn't untransform or something, and it like
They had
traumatized
a
some
very
people.
they had a very clear, you cannot stay in this form for like more than like 12 hours, 24 hours. And then that one kid did get stuck as a hawk, and they like had that whole side plot where he was like trying to like fight his like animal brain now to like continue to like be a part of this unit that he was in, where he
That
like
is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah,
I
no,
just
they-
remember people said it was very scary. Like,
that was the point. I know that this is a book for kids, but I want them to be scared, because our earth is dying, and like they need to be scared of this. So like
Sure.
it is supposed to be like a stark awakening. But I think it's so funny. I don't know why.
That is so,
I just do.
that sounds absolutely terrifying. Oh my gosh.
I distinctly remember reading the book after Tobias is stuck as a hawk, and like they're talking about how like his family is like putting up like missing person posters, because it's like been like months, and like they don't know what they're gonna do, and like you like get scenes of like Tobias like flying past the house being like, oh man, like oops.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Yeah, because it's like through his point of view too. Like he's like, I remember there's like I saw like a people like just post like a picture of like a little bit of like internal dialogue basically from a book, like and it was basically like him talking about like trying to shift back or something, and like the struggle, and he was like in pain or something. Like it was just like, really
it was a
weird.
painful process. At no point while reading the books was it cool to shift. I remember distinctly every time it was like a very graphic, like I don't want to say body horror, but I mean it was.
Kind of.
We
Yeah.
are on an Anamorph tangent. I am
I'm sorry.
so sorry.
No,
No,
it's
it's
all
fine.
good.
I should put a stop to that before we even get into it.
I got a natural thing that bring us back to B movies, B shows, right? So hear me out real quick. So it dawned on me that the easiest
Fraggle
way
Rock.
to really what?
I said Fraggle Rock. That's my only B show, I think.
I was just gonna start listing out like Nickelodeon shows, but
Well,
yeah, that works. Are You Afraid of the Dark was a B show. Goosebumps back in the day.
Are You Afraid of the Dark was scarier than
Yeah, I mean,
because the kids were allowed to get hard.
Yeah. Harmed. Okay, that's what you said. Harmed. Okay.
Yeah. I did.
I'm sorry.
What?
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Anyway,
Oh my god, no.
So Are You Afraid of the Dark was actually terrifying, but definitely a B movie caliber like show, right? And then what about like horror movies just in general for B movies? Like I mentioned the swamp like thing. Like
I think
it was
there's a
Creature
lot
from
of
the Swamp, right?
crossover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
agree.
All of them are kind of.
It depends.
Can you name one that isn't like a horror thriller?
Turbo Kid.
I'm gonna look up Turbo Kid. Hold on.
It's like sci-fi.
Okay. Yeah. Turbo Kid. Turbo
I
Kid.
love Turbo Kid. Leave me alone.
I hate to interrupt here, but
yeah.
I mean, a lot of them are also like there's a lot of action movies. I would say.
What did you say, Trevor?
I said I hate to interrupt here, but we do need to watch time.
Oh yeah.
How long have you guys been recording for?
I think like an hour 20.
What? Wait, have I been here for an hour?
You started at like 7:10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we started late. Hold on.
Okay.
So
like
we're probably closer to like an hour.
Okay. Dang. I was about to talk about Turbo Kid.
I haven't seen Turbo Kid.
Turbo Kid looks kind of good.
It is. It's a banger movie. That's what we should end on.
Reminds me of
Everybody go watch Turbo Kid.
Turbo Kid.
Is that's our recommendation for the week?
Turbo Kid.
Yeah, that's everybody's recommendation for the week.
Is this on like
Turbo
Prime
Kid.
or anything? Or?
It used to be on Prime. I don't know if it still is. It also used to be on Netflix.
It's on Vudu and Tubi.
Yeah.
Not on HBO Max, unfortunately.
Dang. Come on, HBO. Step your game up. Step your game up.
Cool.
I'm just now getting a phone call. We just lost the sponsorship.
No!
Oh no.
Fumbled the bag.
Not again, dude.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank
We're
you for
sending on Turbo
watching.
Kid?
Yeah, we are. We're ending on Turbo Kid. I'm making the executive decision.
Go watch it. Now.
I'll know.
I'll watch it. It looks pretty good. Honestly.
Yeah.
Watch it.
Looks like a Mega Man type thing.
It doesn't look. Come on. Get out of here.
I would argue that it's trying to be like Speed Racer.
Sure. I know nothing about the plot. I just looked at stills. It looks decent.
Well,
all right.
Michael Ironsides. Whoa.
Thanks for having
me.
me.
It was fun.